All right, so let's be honest here, man. Is it even worth owning a Mopar at this point with all the BS that comes with it? The reason I ask, man, is because in the last 2.5 weeks, two people that I know personally have had their ScatPack Charger stolen. And one of those two have had their ScatPack Charger stolen twice. And he just gave up. He called his insurance company, made the claim. Long story short, they couldn't find it. They cut him a check. He took that money and went out and bought a Chevy SS1LE. And he's the second person that I know that have done that. One of my guys has a wide-body Charger ScatPack. Broad daylight, he took it to the mall with his son. Took it to the mall, parked it in broad daylight, and somebody broke into it. Stole everything in the car, including his son's blanket. Every single time I park this car, now granted, you know that I got hella security on my stuff, so I know what's going on with my car 24/7. But every time most Mopar owners park their car, it's one of those things like they may not see it in the same shape that they left it in, as in it may be broken into and rummaged through when they come back, or it may not be there at all. And that's probably the number one reason why people are selling these cars and leaving Dodge, is because of the BS that comes along with them. People breaking in, stealing them, the profiling that happens from police, things of that sort. It's not a good look for Mopar right now. And my question to you is it even worth it at this point to own a Mopar or buy a brand new one? Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Knockout360 here with another video, man. So you can tell I'm in a car that makes it a car blog. You already know what's going down when I come around. Let's get into it. I've got car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets. Anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around because you're in the right place. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out. So boom, I know I'm sweating. I just left the gym, but I had to get this video out, man, because in the last 2.5 weeks, two people close to me that I know personally have had their ScatPack Charger stolen. One of them happened to unfortunately be in lane hogs. We've never had anybody touch any of our cars. And I don't want to make it seem like, you know, we were untouchable. But it was one of those things like, you know, if you saw a banner, you left that car alone. We've never had an issue with somebody trying to break into our car and steal our shit. But we had one that got away. And one of my dudes got his ScatPack Charger stolen. We have yet to find it. That was going on a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Another one of my homeboys had his ScatPack Charger stolen twice. It was stolen once. He got it back, recovered it, all that good stuff. And then a couple months later, it was stolen again, which was 2 weeks ago. And they have yet to find it. And at that point, he just gave up hope, called his insurance company, made the claim, took the insurance money, went out and got him a Chevy a Chevy 1LE. He's done with Mopar altogether. And his number one reason was he's just done with the BS. He's done parking his car and having to lock it 3-4 times. You know how we do. When we park our cars and we're walking away from them, it's one of those things like you may have heard it the first time, but it's like, I didn't hear it good. Let me hit it again. Let me hit it again. I heard it, but let me make sure I heard it again good. And then before you know it, you've hit that, you know, the lock button 4 times before you walked away. That's me too. And you know, I got hella security on my car. You know, I still got CarLock. I want you to know I am still rocking with CarLock heavy. All right? Heavy with CarLock. And then, of course, you know, I got CompuStar. I've got a kill switch. I've got everything on this car that you can imagine. Everything. And I do mean everything. Some stuff that I'm not even going to mention on this camera. But I've still got it on there. And then another one of my homeboys has a wide-body Charger ScatPack in broad daylight on a Sunday, yesterday. He takes him and his son to the mall. In broad daylight on a Sunday, parks his ScatPack Charger and goes into the mall. Somebody breaks in the back window, rummages through the entire inside of the car, steals whatever they can get their hands on. They even stole his son's blanket, bro. His son's blanket. And it's one of those things like that man worked hard for his car, works hard for his car, because we're all still paying on these cars. And it's just one of those things like, I don't see Chevys having to deal with this. I'm sure somebody's Chevy has been broken into. I don't see Mustangs having to deal with this. I don't see AMGs having to deal with this. BMWs having to deal with this. I don't even see like Hondas and Toyotas anymore. Now, of course, the Kias are different because they got that Kia challenge, the Kia boys. So Kias are getting stolen pretty bad right now. Like there's a challenge going around where people are stealing Kias. But I mean, there's a huge difference between a 25, 23, $20,000 Kia and a $60,000, $70,000 Scat Pack, or 80, 90, $100,000 Hellcat. So there's a difference there. Let's just keep it real here. I'm not devaluing anybody's car. I'm just saying, let's just be real. Every single time I drive this car, I have to lock 3 or 4 different systems on it just before I get out of the sight of it. You know what I'm saying? I've got 3 or 4 systems on my car that I've got to lock and activate before I feel safe that my car is going to be there when I get back. And it's one of those things like, what was I going to say? I only drive this car to certain places at certain times of night. And that even goes back to my Scat Pack. I only drove that car certain places at certain times of night or certain times during the day. I rarely ever, the few times that I drive this car at nighttime, number one, my tent's so dark at this point I can barely see. But number two, the few times that I drive this car, I never park it somewhere where it's going to be parked for a significant amount of time. Like, if I'm driving this car, it's because I'm going to a car meet where obviously my car is going to be right there and I can see it. Or I'm going somewhere where it's like I'm going to be in and out real quick. I never park this car, for instance, like if I'm going downtown and I'm going to the club or I'm going to a lounge or I'm going to a cigar bar or anywhere else. Like, I never park this car anywhere where I know it's going to be parked there for a significant amount of time. I don't take this car to the mall. You know, I don't take this car really even to the grocery store, to be honest with you. Like, this is strictly a purpose car. And I know a lot of people that drive their Scats and Cats like that. It's a purpose-driven car. Like, they only drive it from A to B and then back to A. It's not one of those things where, okay, I'm gonna hit the mall, then I'm gonna hit the club, then I'm going downtown and see what's going on down there, then I'm gonna cruise around. You can't have this car just sitting somewhere for an extended period of time. Which is where, I mean, for number one, a garage. A lot of you people always say a garage, garage, garage. I agree. You don't necessarily need a garage. You just need a safe environment, neighborhood that you actually trust. Because I know a lot of people that don't have garages. They live in townhome communities. They live in condo communities. And they feel safe behind those cars, you know, because they live in a good neighborhood. And then, of course, here we go. Shut up. And then, of course, they've got plenty of security on their car, so they're not worried. But there are certain places, certain times of day that I just don't drive this car. I'm telling you, I just don't. It's just not safe to. And you have to know those times and those places. Every city is different, you know. Every city is different, and it's just one of those things like you can't have this, especially like a Hellcat. That can't be your daily. I know a lot of people that do daily their cars. It's one of those things like you just got to be careful, man. You know, you got to be careful. Like I said, I only drive this car at certain times of day, certain places. Anytime else or any other time, I'm driving my Jeep, my daily. And even with my Jeep, like, I don't even have tint on it. Like, I'm not hiding anything. I want that Jeep to be legal schmeagle. I don't want to get pulled over for nothing in that. When I get in that car, I don't think I've ever done 80 miles an hour in my Jeep. Over 80 in it. Like, I got no reason to. Like, that is strictly an A to B to C to D type of place. Or type of automobile. You know what I'm saying? But getting back to the topic of this video, it's just like a lot of Mopar owners are done with the bullshit. Right? If it's not having to worry about somebody breaking into your car or stealing your car altogether, it's, you know, the profiling associated with it. I remember years ago, one of my homeboys got pulled over in Concord, and he had a ScatPack Charger, and they literally told him that the reason that they pull over Chargers was because they're more likely to find guns and drugs and money, which I actually don't doubt that one bit. I mean, if you've seen some of the people that drive Chargers and Challengers, I don't doubt that. But it's targeted, it's profile, it's all that stuff. There's just so much bullshit that comes along with these cars, man. These are not the kind of cars that you can just drive every day, all day, and just chill and relax. You can't. You constantly got to be on guard. When I drive this car, I mean, I'm not going to say exactly, but needless to say, I'm protected, if you know what I mean. And it's one of those things like I don't have to reach in the glove compartment. It's right here in the cup holder. Like, that's how I ride 24/7 in this car if I'm driving it. Just because it's like you don't have that much time to get off if you need to. When I'm in my Jeep Grand Cherokee, oh man, I'm chilling. No, not necessarily. I'm still riding in the cup holder, but I'm less likely. I'm you know, I don't feel like I have to be. But when I drive this, I got to be on my I got to be on my P's and Q's, you know? And I know a lot of you guys feel that way. And so many guys that are in the comments will say something like, if there's so much BS and hassle that comes along with these cars, why even buy it? And I guess that's a good question. Like, why buy it? You know, because it's one of those things, like, as soon as I got my Hellcat that same week, the first thing I did was took it to the shop and I got the external third-party security on it. Before I even got it tinted, before I did any graphics or Lane Hogs banner, before any of that shit, I took it straight to Tunes car stereo in Concord, and I had him put low jack on it. Everything. GPS, kill switch, audible alarm, CarLock, everything. I got it on here. I want to know everything about this car. You know what I'm saying? I even pay for the Uconnect service so that I know, hell, when something needs to be fixed, when it's time for oil change, or when, you know, to GPS it. I've got like 4 different systems right now that I can use to GPS this car wherever it goes. You know what I'm saying? And God forbid I have to drop my car off and let somebody drive it or valet park it. I can tell if you're accelerating. I can tell how fast you're going at all the time. Obviously, I can tell where you are, where the car is parked, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I can tell down to the damn percentage how much gas I have in this car, right? And that comes via the Uconnect service. But it's just one of those things, like, that's all of the extra bullshit that comes along with owning these cars. And I know a lot of people that have sold these cars in the past, not because they're not happy with the performance or the looks, interior, exterior. They just threw with the bullshit. And I talked to my homeboy, and he had a Hellcat Charger that unfortunately subsequently got stolen. And he went out and got a little PT Cruiser, you know, a little daily car to drive from A to B. And I asked him, and this is probably like a month or a couple weeks after the Hellcat had been stolen. And I was like, so, I mean, are you gonna get you another Hellcat, get you a Scat or something like that? And he was like, no. Like, I like not having to worry about what happens to my car when I park it somewhere. I like being able to go somewhere and just park my car and walk away from it and not having to worry. And I'm like, damn, that does make sense. You know what I'm saying? It makes it seem like you're just driving a car and not, I mean, almost a $100,000, I don't know, piece of jewelry that everybody in the world wants to steal. And he was like, I just like the peace of mind of being able to drive my car and not have to worry about everybody and their mama stealing it, or everybody and their mama looking at it. Like, when I pull up in this car, and I'm not tooting my own horn or anything like that, but when I drive this car, first thing they do is they look at the emblem, they see it's a cat, they want me to rev it, want me to do a hard pull, want me to do something, they want to hit a whine. It draws a lot of attention. Now, mind you, it's just a Hellcat. This is not a AMG, this is not a Lambo, this is not a you know, McLaren, anything like that. It's a Dodge. But at the end of the day, it's hot, it's culturally relevant, it's popular as far as social media is concerned. So everybody and their mama is looking at it, and they know what it is, they know what it does, and they know they want it, and they damn sure don't want to work for it. So, I mean, for all you guys out there that have these cars or had these cars and got rid of it, like, is it even worth it to go through the bullshit of owning it? Now, me personally, I'll speak on my behalf. I love this car. I love the power. I mean, basically all of the things with the exception of the BS is pretty much what I love about this car. The power, performance, the interior, exterior, although the interior and exterior has been the exact same since 2015. I actually like the design of this car. It's big, it's spacious, it serves a lot of purpose. I mean, that back seat folding down, I mean, you know, you'll never see an AMG or a McLaren or a BMW or even a Ford or a Chevy doing something like that. Big sunroof, big glass, big windows that I can see out of, all that good stuff. It's got a back seat, obviously, in case I want to have a car full of people, car full of women type deal. It serves a lot of purposes. But it does draw a lot of attention. You know what I'm saying? And that draws a lot of attention to me, the driver. So, but I love it for all the other reasons, man. I love the culture. I love the fact that when I'm driving this and I see another ScatPack or Hellcat, it's, what's up, bro? How you doing? I'm not that kind of guy that's mean mugging people, like trying to race them. It's just, oh, what's up, man? I like the Scat, like the Cat, like the RT, whatever. You know, I like the culture of it. I like, you know, the acknowledgement. I like the conversation behind it. When I pull up the places, people always say, oh, what kind of engine's in that? What kind of power is it putting down? Is that is that a jailbreak? Is that a red eye? Is that this? Have you seen the Demon? And then before you know it, it kind of springboards into a completely different conversation just on the car. I know a lot of you guys have experienced that, where you pull up to a gas station or to a restaurant and somebody sees your 392, your RT or your Cat, and it's like, oh man, what kind of engine you got in there? What you doing in there? How fast have you gone? You know? Oh, I know somebody, and everybody knows somebody that's got a Hellcat or a Demon, right? Everybody I talk to, oh yeah, my best friend's got a Demon, or my best friend's husband or wife has a Demon, or a Trackhawk, or a Hellcat, or SRT something. So, I mean, there's a lot to love about these cars, but damn, it's just a lot of bullshit that comes along with them. Like I said, in the last 2 weeks alone, 2 Scats have been stolen. Out of those 2, one person has pretty much given up on it at this point. The other person completely gave up and went and got a Chevy 1LE, and his sole excuse for doing that was because he's just tired of the Mopar bullshit. He literally said he wants to stay Mopar, but he's just tired of the bullshit. He doesn't worry about that with his Chevy. And the messed up part about it is that his Charger was like a dark red. It was an octane red, dark wine red. And his new Chevy is a bright ass blue. Like, the Chevy attracts way more attention if you look at it than the Scat, but a Scat is a Scat. A Charger is a Charger, as opposed to a Camaro. Like, people don't really want Camaros right now. No disrespect to the Chevy boys, but people don't really want Camaros. They want Scats and Cats, Chargers and Challengers, Trackhawks, TRX, Durango Hellcats. That's what they want, not Chevys, not Fords, you know? And then my other homeboy, who literally took his car to the mall in broad daylight on the Sunday with him and his damn son, and they broke in, stole everything, stole his son's blanket, and then took off. That's just the bullshit you got to worry about. And the fact that I told you I can only drive this car at certain times of day or night. If I'm driving it at nighttime, it's one of those things where I'm always in it or around it. I don't park it anywhere for an extended period of time and then walk away from it. I park it, I can see it or hear it, then I get in it and I'm going home. Otherwise, I'm driving my daily. So, you know, how are you guys coping out there dealing with the bullshit of owning these cars? Is it one of those things like that's just such is life? Like that's just what it is? Or is it one of those things like I'm probably looking to get rid of it in the next whatever year or so and move on to something else because this just ain't it. It's just wild. Like a couple of last week, if I'm not mistaken, they busted some huge theft ring of these cars, and specifically these cars, but there was other ones too, that spanned from like Charlotte to Arizona. Like Charlotte was on the list, and then all the way to Arizona, New York, Texas. It's like, damn. And then, of course, they had Charger Hellcats, Charger SRTs, Challenger Hellcats. Surprisingly, Chargers are really at the top of the list, and we'll talk about that in another video, but it's just like, damn. It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, I understand it's got a 6.2 liter Cat engine, all that, but it's a Dodge. Like, if you're going to steal a car, still an AMG, still a BMW, still a McLaren, still something that, I don't know, is 6+ figures. Why are you messing with Dodge? Like, you come on now. And that just, it's another thing where it's like, people work hard for their cars, man. And that's the worst part about it, is people work hard for these cars. They saving their money up. They're doing things the right way. You got a lot of brothers and sisters out here that just want to look clean, ride clean, sound clean. They go out, they purchase these cars the right way, and then they come out one day and it's gone. And it's just like, damn, we're living in a time where it's hard to be a decent man in indecent times. You know? It's wild, man. To you guys out there, man, be safe when you drive these cars. If you can avoid it, try not to make these cars your everyday car. If it's your daily, I understand, do what you got to do. Just be smart about it. If it's not your daily and you have another daily, just use these cars for pleasure. Like, you know, broad daylight, during certain hours. Don't be taking these cars to the hood, you know, and do the best you can to stay out the mess. Like, the thing about this car that I'm driving in, when I park it, it's never parked there for more than an hour, hour and a half. And I know that sounds like plenty of time for somebody to get jiggy, but even when it's parked, like I just left the gym and I drove this car, obviously, it's parked in front, at the front of the gym. Like, the gym door is right there and my car is right in front of it. So I can see it, and everybody that's walking in and out of the gym can see it. I don't park my shit way back in the back. Shout out to CarLock, literally as we speak. But literally as we speak, CarLock is tripping. But I don't park my shit way back in the back. Like, I know a lot of people that have that mindset, like, oh, I'm going to park way back here where nobody expects it. Well, that's kind of counterproductive, because you're really parking your car in a secluded area where somebody can get off on it if they need to, and nobody would notice. Because all it takes is for somebody to walk up to your car, break that back window, and if you don't have some kind of security or alarm, it's a wrap, you know? So I try to always park this car as close up front as I possibly can, so that not only am I able to see it, but people that are walking in and walking around the front door are able to see it as well, and more likely to report somebody's car being broken into type deal. You know, if I can't park there, I mean, I'm just not. I'm not working out that day, or I'm going home and I'm getting my daily. You know, but talk to you guys. Talk to your man. I mean, it's a sad situation, man. I feel like I've lost people, but it's like 3 people that I know have lost their cars or have had their cars broken into in the last 2 weeks. And it's just getting worse, you know. So, and it's always scats and cats, Chargers and Challengers. RTs too. People love RTs. They want RTs. But as always, it's been your boy Knockout, man. Talk to me. See you guys in the next one. Peace.